What's up everybody and welcome to the Fight Franchise and the recap and review of the main event of UFC 312 where Sean Strickland went to try and dethrone Dricus Du Plessis from atop the middleweight division and failed epically. Dricus Du Plessis has showed himself to be one of the best fighters in the world, and he is arguably top 4, top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the world, and is putting together a middleweight run like no one thought he could and no one ever saw coming. He could arguably be in the running for one of the best fighters in middleweight division history with the kind of resume and streak he is putting on. Going to kind of give my recap of the fight and what I want to see for both guys going forward. So, and I'm just going to kind of give you a kind of run in how we got here. So, Sean Strickland became champion, defeating Izzy, and then off the back of that had his first title defense against Dricus Du Plessis, who earned his shot after beating Robert Whittaker and putting on the best win streak in the middleweight division at the time. And he would face Sean Strickland in a competitive bout in Toronto at UFC 297, where DDP won 3-2 on two of the judges' scorecards, and would win the bout and take it from Sean Strickland. I will be honest, when I watched the original fight, I did have it for Sean Strickland 3-2, but Du Plessis won. Du Plessis off the back of that defended against Adesanya. Strickland went and beat Paulo Costa. Khamzat Chimaev put on a great performance against Robert Whittaker, but they didn't give him the title shot. They gave it to Sean Strickland to keep DDP busy, and DDP wanted a defense. And I don't think Khamzat Chimaev would have turned around that quickly anyway, because he only fights like one a year. So they gave him Sean Strickland in the main event of UFC 312. And both men before the fight, promised us a war, especially Sean Strickland promised us a huge performance. He's going to get in front of the Dutchman and beat him up and whatnot. And we were all expecting fireworks. Both guys went in there, and it was the one thing I will mention, Sean Strickland did have a staph infection going into the fight, so he could be like, he was diminished, kind of ill going into the fight on antibiotics, so his body wasn't going to be operating at the same level. That being said, they went in there, they squared off, and DDP put on a masterpiece on Sean Strickland, who just came in with the same game plan as usual. He came in there, teep, jab, kind of fought at his kind of normal pace and kind of how he does. And DDP just poured the pressure on him and just put the volume back on Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland out-volumed DDP in the first fight. This was not the case. DDP was throwing leg kicks, throwing huge shots, going for spinning elbows and spinning back fists. And DDP was the more dynamic and the busier striker, and that's the most important thing. Yes, DDP has firepower coming the other way. He's got power. That's Sean Strickland's problem. He doesn't outpower anyone. He out-volumes them. He out-finishes them like that. He doesn't one-shot kill you. DDP has the power to one-shot kill you. He's got the power to drop you and put you out. And that's the difference between these guys. And when you've got the power and you're matching the volume striker, it's a recipe for disaster. I thought DDP could have put his foot on the gas and tried to take him out of there, but he just took a measured approach, beating on Sean Strickland rounds 1, 2, and then rounds 3. And Sean Strickland going into round 3, he's just still doing the same thing, and there's no urgency. Eric Nixick in his corner is saying, "Come on, Sean, get on the gas, get on the foot," and he's just not doing it. And then we're going into the last 2 rounds, and he needs a finish, and the likelihood of Sean Strickland getting a finish is not high. So going into the 4th and 5th round, it's not looking good for him. And then DDP lands a huge shot and shatters Sean Strickland's nose. Credit to him, he toughed it out and snaps his nose back in place. But even then, it just wasn't good enough. He wasn't busy enough. He wasn't going for the fight. He talks the talk going into the fight, saying, "I'm going to give you a war. I'm going to die for you guys. I'm going to fight for you guys. I'm going to do all this for you guys." But when it came to do it for yourself, and actually do it for us as well and put on a show, he just didn't put his foot on the gas. And then round 5 comes and it's more of the same, boring teep and jab, and eventually just kind of DDP coasts to a decision and wins the fight 50-45 on every judge's scorecards, which was the right call. I just think Sean Strickland, first of all, he let himself down because that was probably the last chance he had at getting back to the title. I don't think he gets back to the title if DDP's in the picture again, especially after a performance that bad. You can't promise us a war and then just give us a lackluster performance, especially because the first fight was actually a very entertaining and fun fight, and this time you just kind of shit the bed. It also reflects bad on him. I think people are seeing through the facade and seeing through the aura now. yes, his run to the title was great and how he won it, and he was the fighter of the year and he beat Izzy. But never was he putting on the most exciting bouts. Never was he putting on the most electric performances. And when you're losing like this and losing and not showing up and talking a big game, it looks bad on you. I'll go back to Colby Covington at UFC 296 where he trash talked Leon Edwards so much. He was cussing out Leon's dad and this, that and the other. And then when it came to the fight, he'd literally done nothing. Leon schooled him pretty much the whole fight. By the end of the fight where Colby got a takedown and a bit of control. Other than that, Leon dominated, and it's like, you talk such a big game, and for you to shit the bed like that, it doesn't look good on you, especially for these kind of trash talking guys. So yeah, very poor from Sean Strickland. It annoys me. It has happened quite a few times. Marlon Vera springs to mind. You get a title shot against Sean O'Malley, a gifted title shot, and you literally just do nothing, and you just go to this like low volume output. You don't throw the kitchen sink at it. Like you throw look at Dustin Poirier in his last title fight against Islam Makhachev. Dustin Poirier, he kind of shits the bed against Khabib, shits the bed against Charles Oliveira, gets submitted in the third round against both of them. And then he comes out against Islam Makhachev, and we're expecting the same, him to get submitted in the third round, second round, first round. But he just goes out there, he knows this is his last title fight, and he just throws the kitchen sink at it. And he loses, but he put on a fight of the year, and he put on a valiant effort to try and get that belt, but he didn't. He came up short, but he tried his best. Sean Strickland didn't do that. I've seen a lot of people give Sean Strickland grief online, saying, oh, he's not really that guy. Everyone in this area, Hawaii, he's been saying a lot of stuff and trash talking him a lot. The one thing I will say, yes, he does do that, and he does talk a lot of trash, and he says, oh yeah, I'm going to fight for you guys, and he doesn't show up, and that's frustrating. The other thing I will say, we're now in issues. Obviously, you see it in a lot in fights, and I'll give the example where guys kind of fight in a different stance, like they'll fight southpaw instead of orthodox. They're an orthodox fighter, but they fight southpaw to give them a different look. And in the first 2 rounds, they have a bit of success and whatnot, but then they eventually just revert back to their normal stance. The reason being they're comfortable. For Sean Strickland to abandon his kind of game plan that he's built over all these years, it's kind of hard. And plus, when you're in that moment, it's you're tentative, you're nervous, you're scared, you've got so many emotions. Is the reason probably why he fights very conservatively. It's what he's used to and it's what he's most comfortable with. For him to abandon that and go winging punches and going crazy in a real life fight, in a octagon in front of all the crowd, that's a difficult thing for him to do. It's probably why he does revert to type, even though he goes, yeah, I'm going to give you a war, I'm going to do this, because he's so used to it. When you go out there to fight, yes, you fight on emotion, but you also fight on all the practice and all the skill you've got and all the old fights and experience you've got, and you probably go back into your normal habits and your routines and stuff, and that's what Sean Strickland probably did in that fight. So yeah, very poor from Sean Strickland. It's unfortunate, really, and I think he's got a lot of work to do to kind of work up the rankings. The easy bout is there, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. But yeah, very much work to do. As for Dricus, fought valiantly. Like I said in my preview, he's getting so much better. He's arguably, and this is for you guys in the comments, is he top 3 in the world now, or is he top 4? Is he ahead of Ilya? Is he ahead of Alex Pereira? Is he ahead of Islam? Don't think so just yet, just because his performances leave a bit more to be desired. Yes, he finished Izzy. Yes, he finished Whittaker. Should have finished Strickland. I know he did pitch out a shutout, but he just needs to be a little less goofy and a bit more definitive, and he could, go up the pound for pound rankings. He is one of the best in the world at the moment, putting on a generational run. Very soon he could eclipse Izzy as the second best middleweight. Izzy, Strickland, Whittaker, Till in his recent resume. That's a great resume to have so far. And if he can get the scalp of Khamzat Chimaev, which is next, you've got to give him that Khamzat Chimaev bout. That would be a huge win. I don't know when the Khamzat Chimaev bout is going to happen. The reason being, I don't know if Khamzat's still cleared to fight in America. If he is, that bout will be in America. If it's not, they may do a mid-year Abu Dhabi card, but I can't see them doing that because they love their Abu Dhabi in October card, and I don't think they're doing 2 pay-per-views in Abu Dhabi, unless the rumour is they may do International Fight Week there, but then there's also the rumour International Fight Week will be Jones versus Aspinall. But yeah, hopefully August, September time, maybe October, he'll have to wait to get Khamzat, which is unfortunate for Dricus because I think he does want to get 3 title defenses because he wants to get the accolades. He wants to be the best fighter ever. He's very confident. You know, he's that kind of consummate athlete where he shows up, performs. If you can't get that Khamzat Chimaev fight booked as soon as possible and there's delays with Khamzat, what I would do is do Imavov, Nasruddin Imavov, who's well deserving of his shot now because he's on a great streak and he's just beat Izzy and finished Izzy. Do Imavov versus DDP in South Africa because Dricus deserves that kind of title defense now in South Africa. He's on a great run and there's no better time to capitalize on it because if you don't capitalize on it now, you may risk the chance of, doing that first UFC event in Africa if Khamzat wins. If Khamzat wins, you lose that UFC event in Africa. So yeah, you either do quickly, like by the summertime, August, July, I'd say actually. August, July, you do Khamzat Chimaev versus DDP. If not, you try and get that UFC Saudi Arabia card made if you can't get Khamzat. Not Saudi Arabia, it's UFC South Africa card made and you do DDP versus Imavov. Because Imavov will just say, yeah, let me fight in South Africa. So it wouldn't surprise me if that happens. As for DDP's chances against Khamzat Chimaev, I give him a great chance. Reason being, it just seems like the era of athleticism where you're getting the more athletic fighters, those hard-working, grinding fighters, the tough fighters, beating the more skilled guys at the minute. Not in every case, but like your Marab, Bilal Muhammad, Zhang Weili over Tatiana Suarez. Zhang Weili is skilled, but not like Tatiana Suarez had that wrestling credential, and Zhang Weili's athleticism, I thought, won that fight. Marab's athleticism made him beat Umar, who was more skilled. Bilal beat Leon Edwards, who was more skilled on the feet, and he just he's athletic, but Bilal doesn't have nothing special. And DDP as well, there's some guys where he goes into the fight against these much more skilled guys, but his athleticism, his, power, his determination gets him through the fight. And I think he's a big guy as well, so he can survive the takedowns against Khamzat Chimaev. So he could have very much a lot of success in that fight. So I would probably, going into it at the moment, predict DDP to beat Khamzat Chimaev. But that's just kind of my early predictions. Let us know what you thought of the fight in the comments down below. Do you think Dricus Du Plessis is top 3 in the world, or is he just shy? I think I've still got him in the 4th spot. The people who've got DDP out of the top 5 to me are crazy. I think Marab's I think Jones and Aspinall actually have to drop out of the top 5. I don't even think, because it's just a lack of activity. You've got to give the active guys credit and the guys who on a great run credit. I know people are going to go, Jones has got all these wins. There's too much of a big gap between his light heavyweight and his heavyweight era. So I actually think Dricus Du Plessis is solidly one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? Let us know down in the comments below. Do you think Sean Strickland is a bit of a phony, a bit of a pussy? Is he chatting shit in his press conferences? Is he actually who he says he is, going out there and saying, yeah, I'm going to fight for you guys, I'm going to do it, but he actually doesn't? Do you think he's a bit of a phony and people are seeing through his character? Let us know down in the comments below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video and we'll catch you in the next one.